Hey, hey, hey! Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Bubble Tea's Schadenfreude's Guide to Life. Today's topic will be how to be a zero castle, or aka blank castle. Okay, what is a zero castle? So basically, a zero castle goal is to reinforce or fill a rally or fill a castle with the number of troops that they have and have supporting dragons though. So they are the type of castles that you usually see sent to a rally, and when the other side tries to hit them, they get nothing or they lose their lord. So, who should play? Let me bust out the notepad, man. I feel like it's not a video if I don't have my notepad. Zero castle, or aka blank castle. Okay, who should play a zero castle? People who wanna play competitive PvP, but they are tight on a budget, or careful with money. So it's not cheap to have 15 million troops or like the stats of a bannerman though. So Zero Castle basically ignores your stats and it focuses more on you supporting the bannerman or supporting the rally tank. So Zero Castle is probably the most common role for people for competitive PvP because A is cheapest role in the game. Why I say it's the cheapest? Cause you don't really need good stats. Your losses are not huge or usually or equivalent to equal to banner or rally tank, and you still want to help your alliance to go ahead or zero somebody out, or you just want to be annoying and hit nodes. Zero castle is ideal for hitting nodes because even if you get in fervor, you're still empty. And Zero Castle is by far the cheapest because you don't have to care about your combat stats. You don't have, not actively though, you somewhat care. All you need to do is have trained troops and have a really good dragon. That's priority number one. And then the second priority would be having good stats to capture a lot. So I'm gonna look at my map. Let me bring down the notepad. Boop. Okay, so Zero Castle, your dragon is very important though. So this is mine. So usually in an alliance, I will ask my Zero Castles, or it's generally like a thing that to fill the gap of the rally tank or rally leads. So as you should check with your alliance, but generally everyone can get the spear attack bonus, infantry attack bonus, and cav attack bonus. And the usual format is this: they will have the some health to go ahead. That's the usually one they have. Then there are some zero castles with level 8 or 9 army reroute, level 8 or 9 legion damage, level 8 or 9 attack. Those are the premier zero castles. They spend for the stuff that makes them very important to an alliance though. So if you are a zero castle and you apply to the big alliance and you show them you have a stack dragon, usually they'll just take you into account. Like take you in though, cause like they know your dragon is gonna be supporting their rallies like really good. Well, let me bring up my notepad. Poop. So dragon is number one for zero castles. Get dragon skills that matches your banner or rally tank. Ideally, you want gold troop attack plus gold or red troop health. Try to get them to level 5. That's when you have the rally bonuses though. Then if you're willing to spend, you can get some legion skills that sync with your bannerman. The second thing that Zero Castle should do is look at the research. I pull up my notepad. Sorry guys, it's stuffy. So what is important research for Zero Castle? Expedition, city defense totally out. Production, you need it. Military, you need it for your T4. Yep, you need this. You need this because like this is the most important tree in the game. You can totally ignore this. For AM, there's only one thing that is important here. AM actually also helps though, because they give you the pre-edit army configuration, and they give you like some good stuff, and you ultimately want to have a bigger deployment. So AM is the trees that I'm interested in is this, your army combination, your training speed increase, your deployment. So AM has 2 deployments though, and pathfinding. Then for this tree, the things that are important would be your triage, and your deployment. This is totally irrelevant, and this is very important for a Zero Castle, your shelter capacity. So when you look into research for Zero Castle, you should always look into oh shit. Okay, I'm gonna just type it out though. Research. Your expedition, your T4 research, then you go for your AM to get advanced military, to get the troop formation unlocked. Then you also want to get deployments from your AM to increase your deployment, and you also want to get your shelter capacity. These are the things critical for a Zero Castle. Okay, so what is troop formation? Troop formation is basically this. So when you hide troops, you're gonna need your configuration so that you can optimally hide. Without this, you have to select troop and commander. So basically, this is important is because if you don't have this, you waste a lot of time getting setting up your configuration. And look, without commanders, it's 450, but if I add 5 commanders, it's 510. So the more deployments you have, the more troops you can hide, the more efficient of a Zero Castle you can be. So what other thing? So I explained this. Deployment is, the more deployment you have, the more troops you can hide. So your goal is to basically blank out your castle. Blanking means sending everything out. So when a person hit you, they hit nothing. Hence Zero Castle, blank castle. And shelter is always important because you can always shelter this in an instant though. Sorry guys. Okay, key tip here. As a Zero Castle, it's always a juggle between whether to shelter your lord. So let's say if without sheltering my lord, my stats are this, but if I shelter my lord, I'm gonna show you, my stats are this. Oh shit. Alright, my bad. My stats are this. See, notice the drastic difference. If I unshelter my lord, poop, my stats are increased by my gear and my talent point. So as a Zero Castle, it takes practice to decide whether you want to shelter your lord or unshelter your lord. Or because like there's a time whereby you recall every troop and you need your lord active to be able to tank a solo hit. When Zero Castles are never meant to get ready, because 5 minutes they can hide all the troops. So okay, now I'm done with the research. I'm gonna go to Tavern. Tavern is basically, like I said, the priority for Tavern is usually army leader size, battle bonus. Then this is command can be actually quite good for zero castle, because when you're sending troops to rallies, they die fast and you need to replenish. Go for T4 and research and troop training speed up. Okay, so Tavern basically priority is always army size over battle bonus. Always look for commanders that give you good leadership. If you notice the game, most of the free to play commanders actually provide decent leadership though, but very bad combat bonuses. So as a zero castle, you can take advantage of that and play the role. For my refinement, I'm gonna refer you to my video. I basically gave an in-depth analysis of zero castle's refinement there. For the wall, usually same concept though. So the thing is, you just like you want to fuel a rally and you want to tank a rally on your terms. Okay, so Tavern is done, refinement is done. Okay, so now let's go into the actual zeroing out your castle. Let me remove this, man. I'm just gonna give a very basic. So I gave my friend some my friend Huntress Moon or other chronicles will be stepping in if I make a mistake, because I haven't played zero castle for a while. Okay, so the zero castle, look at this. So if I was a zero castle and I would okay, if it's in this map, the thing about being a zero castle is you don't want to, you can either hide troops in bubbled castle, but that puts you in fervor. So if it's the first rally that you're joining, I wouldn't recommend putting it in bubbled castle, because the moment someone sends out your first to this guy sees you, he can start attacking, and if you're too slow to put it in the other 3 castles behind you, I wouldn't recommend like doing this. So this is my way of playing zero castle. When someone starts a rally, I will port somewhere near him where people can't see me. And the goal of a zero castle is to always empty yourself out before joining a rally for the first rally. Then for the second, third rally, you are automatically in fervor. So that when you need to recall and send another troop type to the rally, that is where the skill of a zero castle comes. And the skill of a zero castle is also able to trick the person into solo attacking him with 3 to 4 million troop and capping his lot. So that's the fun of zero castle. So let's say if Freeze starts a rally and I'm here, I will not port within eyesight of him. I will port somewhere here, and the first thing I would do is shelter. Before I would do anything, I will, and I'm in a bubble. If I'm not in a bubble, I won't do this. But if I'm in a bubble, I will shelter everything, including my lord, and I will confirm it. Then I will look at a node far away, for example. Wait, let me see. Okay, so my castle is here. I will usually look at somewhere half the screen, so somewhere around Grey Watch from my location. I'll look at a node. I'll find a node like here, and I'll gather with my configuration to get the bigger army size. So my single deployment is 561. I'll usually hide my troops like that and look at the marching time. So marching time is critical because 18 minutes and the rally is over. When I start to recall back my troops, I won't be in fervor, so I can bubble. But if my troops are outside being deployed, they changed it though. So like now when you're gathering and you're coming back, you still consider deployment and you can't bubble. Or they might actually change it. I'm not very sure, I haven't checked yet. But the basic ideology is this. Find somewhere with above 15 minutes gathering time and march it. So I'm gonna use my spears. Don't send your dragon. So 18 minutes marching time, I will do the same process, go somewhere like half the screen. And look for a note. AC, whatever. So marching time 8 minutes. So if it's pure cav, this is what you do. You reduce and you add a bit of infantry. Poop, and you're 60 minutes, above 15 minutes, and you're coming back. And the key thing to note with being a zero castle is you must know your marching formation is what troop. For example, my first march, I know I send out spears. My second march, I send out cav. So if needed, I will recall the troop types needed for the second rally. Yep. So as you can see, this is the concept of being a zero castle. You deploy, then when you shouted and you deploy all your troops, and only then you break your bubble and join the rally. Then if there's a second rally, you must learn to manage your deployments, your hospital, like whether you can heal and resend, or does the rally leader need specific troops, like he needs spear. I'll recall my deployment 1. Okay, so this is the concept of being a zero castle. I don't know much because I haven't played a zero castle in a long while, and the first time I played zero castle I lost 1 million T4 and 700k T3. So this is the concept. So as you can see, I have 8 deployments and each of my deployments are 560. So in theory, times 8, I can have a 4 million castle troop and send out and be zeroed. But depending on your server and how big the whale that is able to solo you, you must be able to hide quick enough. There are some zero castles who are able to hide 4 million in 1 minute. There are some players who will take very slow and they hide like 4 million in 6 minutes. There's a gap of the sweet spot whereby you get capped, where the solo player can hit you and zero you. Then it's up to you to use judgment on whether you want to recall your lord and whether you have enough stats to take a solo rally, and depending on your composition whether you win. This is called baiting him, like, because they always expect zero castles to be zeroed, so they're just hitting you for your resources. A good zero castle will always empty out his castle before he joins the rally because he knows he's gonna get attacked. Okay, so this is the concept of a zero castle. My friend Huntress Moon or any one of the chronicles that are better zero castles than me can give a more in-depth explanation, but I'm just giving you the background. Okay, the other thing about zero castles that everyone asks, what is the optimal hospital to min? As a zero castle, if you're constantly active, you need to train a lot of troops though. So going full hospital is kind of bad, and depending on how good you are and how much margin of error you have, like if you're a better zero castle and you know how to juggle your troops properly, I would say the optimal number is 60% of your marching deployment. So if my marching deployment is 560k, I must have enough hospital to cover 300. But if my marching deployment is 600k, I must have enough hospital capacity, which is here, to cover 500. Right now I'm full min, so it's 110. Then the mins will also help you train troops though. So I'm training 720k T4 for 150 days. Is actually a good amount. So there's an argument for zero castles being full hospital, and it's also valid because like if they hit you and you have below hospital cap, it's a good thing. Like all wounded can just heal and resend. No need to retrain troops, because retraining troops always takes more resources and speed ups than healing troops. Okay, what else of a zero castle can I say? So how, like, depending on you, what your zero castle will be your army size and whether you want to pop a warrior capacity whenever you need to zero yourself out and send to the rally. If you wanna, I have a lot, so I'll just pop a 20%. And being a zero castle is knowing judgment of your army size, how to manipulate it, the correct timing, whether you want to take a solo hit, whether you want to trick the person that whether you're actually zero or not. This is the fun of a zero castle, and there are people who are really good zero castles in the game. Obviously not me, and this is just a basic introduction. How many troops that a zero castle should have and the composition? I believe the composition should always be equal infantry, spear and cav. And the number of troops is depending on your army size, deployment and shelter. So you add them all up and your skill, how fast are you able to hide those troops? Those are the determining factor on how many troops you should have in your castle. If you're a very skilled zero castle who knows what he's doing, you can have like 4 million and you're being fine. But if you're a really like you're just trying out this role zero castle, I recommend you to not get greedy and just play the amount of troops equal to 4 of your deployment. Okay, so if you're in the normal world map, you can hide it in gathering sites, and if you're doing a second rally, you can hide it in bubble castle. But in CCS, it's up to your alliance to support you as a zero castle to bring in castles that have a high reinforcement capability. Like my reinforcement is 1.1. Sorry guys. I can take 2 to 3 zero castles parking in my bubble castle, parking in me. Okay, this is just a basic rough intro of a zero castle, and I give you the some tips and tricks. And the best zero castles, this is one of the tricks of a zero castle which I have got caught numerous times. They pot here and they pretend to empty out their troops into 4, and they just send a single troop, making people think that they hide all their troops. And when the whale sees this, he thinking I can solo this dude either because his lord is missing or his there's not much troop in his castle. And when they send a solo march, poof, they have 3 million inside the castle, insta cap their lord, winning the race between alliance because the bannerman now has to suck his thumb and pop a poison. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is the basics of being a zero castle with some tips. I will leave it to... I spoke to Huntress Moon, who is actually playing a zero castle, and she will probably do a video, so check her video out. Any questions, feel free to PM me in Discord, always listening, or leave a comment on YouTube. Ta ta ta!